Prabhuji. Prabhuji is speaking on Sri Caitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, chapter number 10, verse number 25 onwards. Prabhuji, we welcome you in the Bhakti Sangha. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your association.
Hare Krishna. We can start, Mata?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
Okay.
please take over the call.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all the devotees and mothers. Please accept my obeisances. And we're going to begin today's class by chanting 3 times Panchatattva mantra. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta. So we are reading Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila chapter 10, beginning from text 25. What I would like to do, I would like to read the sloka text all the way to the 52. Yesterday I confirmed with Mother Kirtida Devi because 52 has purport, so we can stop there. Because I feel whenever Srila Prabhupada gives purport, means he felt needed to be discussion, so we are going to discuss there. Until that, we will continue. So we'll stop there, and then we'll read the translation. So we'll have a common thread to be familiar where what is happening, what is taking place, and how we can participate there. So 25th. Narikela khanda naru ar naru ganga jala chirasthai khanda bikar korila sakala chirasthai khirasar mandadi vikara amrita karpurayadi aneka prakara salika chuti dhanne ratap chira kori নূতন বস্ত্রের বড় কুথলি সব ভরি কতেক চিরা হুরুমি করি ঘৃতেতে ভাজিয়া চিনি পাকে নাড়ু কইলা কর্পূরাদি দিয়া শালি ধান্যে তাণ্ডুল ভাজা চূর্ণ করিয়া ঘৃত সিক্ত চূর্ণ কইলা চিনি পাক দিয়া কর্পূর মরিচ লবঙ্গ এলাচি রসবাস চূর্ণ দিয়া নাড়ু কইলা পরম সুবাস শালি ধান্যের খই পুনঃ ঘৃতেতে ভাজিয়া চিনি পাক উখরা কইলা কর্পূরাদি দিয়া ফুটকলাই চূর্ণ করি ঘৃতে ভাজাইলা চিনি পাকে কর্পূরাদি দিয়া নাড়ু কইলা কহিতে না জানি নাম এই জন্মে যাহার হইছে নানা ভক্ষ্য দ্রব্য সহস্র প্রকার so many varieties prasadam that he cannot even speak all the names in the entire life. Wow. Raghavero agga ar karen damayanti দুহার প্রভুতে স্নেহ পরম ভকতি Ganga Mritikani Basrete Chania Papari Korea Dila Ganda Badiya Patol Mrito Patre Sandhana Di Bhari Arasaba Bastu Bhare Basrera Kutholi Samanna Jhali Hoite Diguna Jhali Koila Paripati Kori Sab Jali Bharaila Jali Bandi Mohar Dilo Agraho Korea Tino Bhojari Jali Bohe Krama Korea Sankepe Kohilo Ye Jali Robichar Raghavera Jali Boli Bikhyati Jahar Jali Rupar Munsi Makara Dajakara Pranarupe Jali Rakhe Kaya Tapara Ei Mata Vaishnav Savanila Chale Aila Doibe Jagannate Sedin Jala Kila Lila Narendra Jale Govinda Naukate Choriya Jala Kriya Kori Sava Bhakta Ganalaya Sei Kale Mahaprabhu Bhakta Gana Sange Narendra Aila Dekhite Jala Keli Range Sei Kale Aila Sab Gaurer Bhakta Gan Narendra Te Prabhu Sange Harila Milan Bhakta Gana Pare Asi Prabhura Charane Uthaiya Prabhu Sabare Koila Alingane Gauriya Sampradaya Sab Karena Kirtan Prabhura Milane Uthe Premer Krandan Jala Krira Baddan Gita Nartana Kirtana Mahakola Hala Tire Salile Khelana Gauriya Sankirtanea Rodhana Miliya Mahakola Hala Haila Brahmanda Bhoriya Sava Bhaktalaya Prabhu Namilen Jale Savalaya Jala Krira Karen Kutuhale Prabhurai Jala Krira Daso Brindavan Caitanya Mangale Bistari Koriache Varnan Punaye Bornile Punarukti Hai Berthalikan Hai Ar Granta Bharai Jala Lila Kori Govinda Chalila Alai Nijaganalaya Prabhu Geladi Devalai. Okay. So we are going to read Srila Prabhupada's translation. She made many sweetmeats in the shape of balls. Some were made with powdered coconut. Others looked as white as the water of the Ganges. In this way, she made many varieties of long-lasting sugar confections. Here she means wonderful devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who had a deep emotional feeling for Mahaprabhu. She would not consider Mahaprabhu as a supreme lord. She would consider a great person, but one of the family member. But she had so much affection for him. It's natural. Generally, we see also in our day-to-day life, sometimes we develop affection for a particular sannyasi or someone like that great sincere devotee. Similarly, both Raghav Pandit and his sister, they had such an affection, not as Mahaprabhu is supreme God, but their affection to take care of his health, to take care of his well-being all the time. So this is the elaboration explanation. What did they do? What they cooked, why they cooked, and how they cooked, how they packed, how they sent it, all this. So we'll continue. She made a long-lasting cheese, many varieties of sweet meats with milk and cream. Many other very varied preparations such as Amrita Karpura. She made flat rice from fine unboiled shali paddy and filled a large bag made of new clothes. He made some of the flat rice into puffed rice, fried it in ghee, cooked it in sugar juice, mixed in some camphor, and rolled it into balls. He powdered fried grains of fine rice, moistened the powder with ghee, and cooked it in a solution of sugar. Then she added camphor, black pepper, cloves, cardamom, and other spices, and rolled the mixture into balls that were very palatable and aromatic. Just by reading this is such exciting, even though you have to forgive me, I'm not a cook, but I appreciate, I love prasadam though, I do. She took purchased rice from fine paddy, fried it in ghee, cooked it in a sugar solution, mixed in some camphor, and thus made a preparation called ukda or mudki. Another variety of sweet was made with fused peas that were powdered, fried in ghee, then cooked in sugar juice. Camphor was added, then the mixture was rolled into balls. You wonder, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami must be raised in a wonderful family that he noticed all the mothers, how they cook. Now he heard this description from Raghunath Das Goswami. How did he remember what goes? And it's very fascinating, most fascinating, that he put the mixture of each sweet preparation, not only sweet, the bitter and pungent, different flavor. There are 7 flavors generally. I could not mention the names of all these wonderful eatables, even in a lifetime. Damayanti made hundreds and thousands of varieties. Wow. Damayanti made all these preparations following the order of her brother, Raghava Pandit. Both of them had unlimited affection for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and were advanced in devotional service. Advanced in devotional service because we see in Mayapur, we used to sing Bhogarati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote, and in Bhogarati, there is a description of secret after Lord Krishna would eat, and we'll see it is also mentioned. Bhaja Bhakata Vatsala Shigoro Hari. In that song, this same two great maid servant, or we call Pallo Dasi, Manjari of Radharani, who served Radharani in between Krishna remnants left and Radharani in a hiding corner, waiting for the remnants and any preparation that Krishna loved the most, because there's a 4-way you eat, lajjapeya, you lick, you eat, you drink it like this. So whatever Krishna liked the most, and she would take those special care to Srimati Radharani after Krishna finishes. So there is a verse goes in the song, Jasamati agga paye dhanishtayanita Sri Krishna prasade radha bhunje hoye prito. That Dhanishta is, and her sister is there, these two, Raghav Pandit and Damayanti. Damayanti took earth from the Ganges, dried it, powdered it, strained it to a fine cloth, mixed in aromatic ingredient, and rolled it into small balls. The condiments and the similar items were put into thin earthen pots, and everything else was put into small cloth bags. See, even this is what motherly, I remember my auntie also used to do. Not only cook with affection, but when you send the prasadam to person you are sending, so attentively, carefully, wrap in a particular leaf or cloth, or of course in America you have everything wrapped in system, they have it. And so attentively that it would not stale or it would not go bad if it is little long walk or something like that. From small bags, Damayanti made bags that were twice as large. Then with great attention, she filled all the large ones with the small ones. And this is supposed to be the most confidential concept of absolute truth, God. Okay, who is God? Well, you can find out in Bhagavad Gita. What is his personality? Or you read Srimad Bhagavatam. Well, what does he do? Read Chaitanya Charitamrita. See what it is. And this is how we find Chaitanya Charitamrita, what God does and what his devotees reciprocate with. So far, I'm going to read that one. From small bags, Damayanti made bags that were twice as large. Then with great attention, she filled all the large ones with the small ones. She then wrapped and sealed each and every bag with great attention. The bags were carried by 3 bearers, one after another. Thus I have briefly described the bag that have become famous as Raghaver Jali. We should chant that name, Raghaver Jali, 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 like a shopping bag. No, we cannot say shopping bag. Mahaprabhu's prasadam bag. Jali Rupa, the superintendent for all those bags were Makaradhajakara, who kept them with great attention, like this, like his very life. Thus all the Vaishnavas from Bengal went to Jagannath Puri. By chance, they arrived on the day when Lord Jagannath performed pastimes in the water. Boarding a boat in the water of Narendra Sarovar, Lord Govinda performed his water pastimes with all the devotees. Now here, I want the devotees to remember, these are the devotees here Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, they come from where? From Bengal, went to Jagannath Puri. But Navadip did not get love of Godhead in a vast way at that time. So there is a mystery happened. In Madhya Lila chapter 7 explains that in South India, Lord Chaitanya gave love of Godhead, but in Navadip he could not give. And that was one of the reasons why he took sannyas. Boarding a boat in the water of Narendra Sarovar, Lord Govinda performed his water pastimes with all the devotees. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived with his personal associate to see the jubilant pastimes of Lord Jagannath in Narendra Sarovar. At the same time, all the devotees from Bengal arrived at the lake and had a great meetings with the Lord. All the devotees immediately fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord lifted and embraced every one of them. Wow. This is not 1, 2. You're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loved each one of them and he embraced each one. The Gaudiya embrace, in other words, we should know this, alingan, the Sanskrit word, also the origin, Bengali word. Alingan means accepting your own. If Lord embrace you, Srila Prabhupada writes, very fascinating way, another place in Nectar Devotion he writes, embracing means you never will ask anything ever in this world, anything. Because with that embrace of the Lord, unlimited things within you grip. And that satisfaction by embracing Lord and the Lord embracing you, it gives such a nourishment in the heart that you'll never, ever, eternally will ask anything material from that moment. So it is very important that if you want to satisfy your family, you want to satisfy the world, everybody in this world or universe, or everyone, you can try, people try, it never becomes successful until they embrace Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personally. Then, yes, that completeness will come. The next translation, all the devotees immediately fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Lord lifted and embraced every one of them. The Gaudiya Sampradaya, consisting of all the devotees from Bengal, began congregational chanting when they met the Lord. They began to cry loudly in ecstatic love. What kind of embrace? You cry loudly in ecstatic love. Premera Krandan, Prabhure Milane Uthe Premera Krandan. Just meeting Mahaprabhu, they were so much in love, their happiness has to express through cry. Crying emotion is more powerful than laughing emotion. There are 6 types of love in Nectar Devotion you can read. But crying emotion, expression is more deeper to the heart. That's why it is. Premera Krandan. Next, the Gaudiya Sampradaya, consisting of all the devotees from Bengal, began congregational chanting. When they met the Lord, they began to cry loudly in ecstatic love. Because of the pastimes in the water, there was a great jubilation on the shore with music, singing, chanting, and dancing, creating a tumultuous sound. Any conception of absolute truth, if it is not imbibed with these 3 things, we always should remember. Anandam, Nartanam, Kirtanam. Sanatana Goswami Pad writes, Dasama Tippani, that absolute truth is that he has so much compassion. But internally, in the reciprocation, he's always 100% eternally, unlimitedly in bliss, condensed form of bliss. Condensed form of bliss. And it expresses that condensed form of bliss. When it comes outside, it becomes Kirtanam, Nartanam. When you go to the temple, you may see like Lord Chaitanya's chadar is like a flying in the sky. You know, of course, they put a little thread to hang it, apparently. Or Krishna's chadar or Krishna's dhoti is like going this way, that way. It's like is it like a normal? Yes, it is normal, 100% normal. Anandam atra karapada udaradi sagata seveda vivarjitatma. The Krishna's body is such a condensed form of bliss, always dancing. Anything comes in contact, like his clothes. Like when Nityananda Prabhu's attachment so much to Krishna that he wears blue. Krishna, so much absorption to Radharani, that absorption takes a form called yellow dhoti. It's not like a something, purchased from Louis Bazaar or something. We can do that for the deity, for our conditioning. But origin of all these is a bhava transformation. Okay, last two verses. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the water with his devotees and began his pastimes with them in great jubilation. In his Chaitanya Mangal, now known as Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur has given a detailed description of the activities of the Lord performed in the water. There is no use in again describing here the activities of the Lord. It would simply be repetitious and would increase the size of this book. This is out of humility, he says. So nice. I love Krishna Das Kaviraj. Then the last verse for today. After concluding his pastimes in the water, Lord Govinda returned to his residence. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the temple, taking all his devotees with him. Now you may say, how can you say there's hundreds, thousands of people, they go to temple same time? It has to be looked from different angle. That spiritual body, just like Prabhupada says one time, the entire population of this planet in a constitutional level can be in one palm. All the souls can be in one palm. But in the spiritual body, you can have thousands of people in this 10 square feet proximity and nobody will touch each other. How? This is inconceivable. We cannot speak from the material level of the body made of matter, earth, water, air. It is difficult for us to do. It is inconceivable. So the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the deity referred to here as Govinda is the Vijaya Vigraha in the temple of Jagannath. Vijaya Vigraha means wherever there is a festival, He mercifully goes out, except Lord Jagannath comes out for Ratha Jatra. Otherwise, for other festival, it doesn't go out. When there is a need to take Jagannath somewhere, the Vijay Vigraha is taken because the body of Jagannath is very heavy. The Vijay Vigraha in the Jagannath temple is known as Govinda. For the first time in Narendra Sarovar, the Vijay Vigraha was carried there instead of Lord Jagannath. Om Jnanati Mirandhasya Yenanjana Salakaya Shurun Militam Jena Asmai Sri Guruve Namo Sri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadatisha Padantikam Vande Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanta Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Pancha Kalpa Taruvesya Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. This chapter, it's so fascinating that I was thinking, like, if you want to be in love with someone and you want to reciprocate, and in reciprocation, generally there is a exchange, just like yesterday, Valentine's Day passed by. The living entity commune, our hearts commune with God's heart through prayers, through reciprocation, through giving gift, exchanging gifts. That was expressed by Saint Valentine, and he was punished for that, even though there was such a wonderful exhibition. But sometime in the material world, people don't appreciate the ultimate loving exchange of God with the living being. So in this chapter, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mercifully expressing that how he accepts anything given by the devotees with love and faith. The first verse in this chapter, I was looking at it this morning, is the word, he says, Bhakta Dattena. Dattena means given. Dattena, offered. Even in a fire sacrifice, when you offer, grains or job or what they call some kind of, even rice they use with turmeric mixed. Everything has a very art. Prabhupada writes that those who have love, they are interested in details. So because sometimes devotee wonder, do we really have to know details? Well, if you love the person you want to offer, you want to give, yes, you want to know details. But if you want to just give it for the sake of giving, that's different. But if you really want to make sure that the person you're offering want to be pleased and is benefit for that person, then you will pay. That's why Prabhupada says it shows when someone is more into details, shows love. So sweet, the way Prabhupada said. So Mahaprabhu says, Dattena, then when they offer. So when you offer something to a beggar, you know how you offer. I don't know if you can see my hand. You offer like this. Means you don't expect anything back. When you offer something like this, nothing you want it back. It was like a surplus or extra. You don't mind to give this beggar. He doesn't have much or she doesn't have much. Okay, here, take some money or some food, some prasadam, haribol. But when you offer to object of your love, Krishna, you don't offer like this. You offer like this. Just the opposite of your palm, both palm you offer like this. Not that you are expecting back, Hetuki, it's supposed to be a Hetuki, yes. But offering this means it's communing your heart with the divine heart. It's a very art in the dance world. They express this way. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he would receive and devotees would offer, they would have that reciprocation. Just like in the West, people eat with the left hand, but in Vedic culture, today's discussion, I'm not going to go further. Vedic culture, left hand, we never use for honoring prasadam. Use the right hand. But if your right hand is busy for something, you can use the left hand, it's fine. We are not going to be judgmental or sentimental, but there is an art of everything we do. Just like Prabhupada drinking water without touching the lips. It's an art. One time jokingly he said, when the Brahmana means you drink like this. Of course, that's not the qualification of Brahmana, but this is one of the, like some smart Brahmanas, they ask Prabhupada. So in Shastra says the Brahmana is like a fair skin. So what kind of Brahmana you are? If you look at Prabhupada's skin very close, it's like a, not a fair skin, but it's a, how do you say? Typical brown skin, you can say. Prabhupada said, I'm a special Brahman, that's why. They say, oh, okay. They agreed. But I don't know what that means. This is how Prabhupada, sometimes just to keep them happy, just express certain things. In Shastra, you will not find a special. That's the Prabhupada explanation. Sweet. So here Mahaprabhu is expressing that anyone cares for me, give attention, shows affection, worry about me, then what about that preparation or offerable things they offer and they have love and faith, this Shraddhaya, then I will accept. This is the foundation or main key point of this chapter. This is a wonderful chapter that how Lord reciprocating. Now, what is the difference between this versus in this world? In this world, when we reciprocate, our reciprocation does not satisfy ultimately. Maybe apparently it satisfies for a while, but then the death separates. So our reciprocation can never be completely pure. But in spiritual realm, when Lord reciprocates, here, especially this chapter about prasadam, one devotee recently asked a question, is there a scientific explanation for the benefit of eating prasadam? So we discuss long, but we're not going to discuss that here so much because it took like 2 hours and you have to establish some points. But in a short, yes, benefit of prasadam can be explained both at material and spiritual level. At material level, we can understand prasad as food, which is cooked hygienically and it is healthy for the body. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna expressed the food in Tamagun, food in Rajagun, food in Sattvagun. At a spiritual level, prasad has a Krishna's grace, God's grace, which has the potency to transform our hearts, our consciousness. Such a phenomenon is subtle and experiential in nature. I remember in Agartala, Tripura, Bhakti Sarup Damodar Maharaj, he passed away. He was one of my spiritual mentor, very nice. And he's a scientist, very close associate of Prabhupada. He opened a beautiful school, English medium school, few in Agartala, Tripura. And he arranged some prasadam. So I had a one time long talk with Maharaj. Just before he left this world, he came actually to Alachua. And in a talk, and I didn't know that he was speaking my native language. We talked in native language. It was very sweet. Then Maharaj was expressing that the power of Krishna consciousness, that little chanting, he made the student, all the educated professor, engineer, they would send their children to this English medium school, and they know that this is just like a Ramakrishna mission they used to have in Bengal. Similar in Tripura he started. And Maharaj was glorifying the effect of Krishna consciousness in those children's life. So there was a poor children, orphan children's school were separately maintained, and people noticed all those children after a few years living in the ashram because they don't have a place to live. They're like kind of neglected or whatever the world in that part that they join. They become like a saintly, beautiful children. Seeing this, the rich people approach Maharaj. That how can these poor children behave so gentle? They are so wonderful. And we are rich, we have money, we have education, everything, but our children are not getting. So then Maharaj opened this English medium school. And they introduced the prasadam and chanting before the school starts. And in the break, prasadam also, free prasadam. Of course, those rich people, they paid. And they saw a dramatic change in the consciousness of their children. This is not just an idea, it is practical reality. How prasadam, that the remnants of Mahaprabhu affects the heart of those, anybody honoring prasadam. So even, of course, now is pandemic, but in Alachua, we used to serve prasadam to Santa Fe College, then Krishna House in Gainesville. They are being, so the university is so attracted by the Krishna prasadam for years, almost 4 decades, that they actually gave us a place within the university. And they will not allow any other food. Anyway, we are not trying to compete or anything, but some or other Krishna's grace, they don't allow anybody else to sell prasada, food in the campus. It's only us. And this became one of the, of course, it sustained our preaching and temple grown. And we used to make devotee. Even now, we used to make devotee like every month, few joins after eating prasadam, students, grown-up students. We made so many devotees for so many years and still going on, but pandemic made it little struggle. We will see how Krishna wants. So prasadam has an effect. There is no question, practically. And of course, today's discussion is Mahaprabhu's reciprocation with each. In our life, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that as the purification of our consciousness, as the purification in our heart takes place, determination and convictions remain intact, but it is the taste of pure bhakti will keep us going. and progress. And this is very essential, very important. We need to focus. And recently we are discussing also in our Sannyas college that how Prabhupada wanted the ISKCON leaders, devotee leaders. They're like a servant leader, not just leader, servant leader. Because Prabhupada himself addressed as a servant leader. Even in the beginning, you all know how he used to cook, clean, serve. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time, sannyasi means they used to serve all the devotees before they honored the prasadam. But of course, majority temple devotee, or if you go to somebody's house, they don't like sannyasi to serve. They want to serve sannyasi first. So it's difference. But it is very important in this regards for all of us to understand that this Mahaprabhu's caring for the devotees and devotees caring for the Mahaprabhu is what released actually. It is like, it's like when I was a little child, you know, I remember I used to go with my mother with some sweets to, especially for some Hindu festivals like New Year's, like Vijay Dasami. You go to relatives' house with a pack of prasad, not prasadam, it was a sweet, sundaes, barfi, all this, and you give it to them, and you come back with also, they give you some in exchange. So it externally looks like nothing really changed. You know, you entered with a box of sweets, and when you come out, you had another box of sweets, or it's maybe same box. They just exchange the sweets. So what's the big deal? Well, here it is important to understand that the content of the box is not important, but what was reciprocated through that is more important. Actually, through that box of sweets, we offered our affection. I remember with my cousins, and we used to hug, punch a little bit. And of course, my mother, my father, everybody would reciprocate according to their level. So similarly, by return gift, the relatives also offered their affection back to us. Even in the material level we experience, I'm sure in America they do also, Christmas gift and all these things. Thanksgiving, except no violence should be there. In a similar way, when we offer bhoga, like all those devotees brought to offer Mahaprabhu, bhoga to Krishna Chaitanya, they are actually offering not bhoga only. Bhoga is carrying their devotion to him. Lord accepts our devotion, and in return, the first sloka of this chapter you will see has such a sweet chapter, I would say. The first sloka, you will see that verse is there. Jena kanapi santustam Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanyam, Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanyam, Bhakta Anugraha Kataram. This is the nature of Krishna Chaitanya, that he wants to favor. In 8th canto, 3rd chapter, one place of Gajendra Moksham prayers, Prabhupada Vimokshanaya, Namo Lalaya, Bhuri Korunaya. Bhuri Korunaya, the Bhuri Korunaya, not in the translation, but word to word meaning Prabhupada, that Krishna is eager to help and give mercy to the living entity. But living entity are not praying enough to come back. They don't even pray. Only devotees pray. Even the devotees pray, they finish like they want to finish There is a reciprocation, heart to heart, Lord's heart, divine heart with our individual heart. So this is what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his devotees are exchanging. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted their devotion, and in return, he puts back his mercy. And it is the mercy that we receive. Now, externally, food may seem the same, but internally, we will find that prasad has a delicious taste. Most importantly, it also has Krishna's grace that can transform our heart. This is the most important. We should always remember when we are honoring prasadam that Krishna's saliva actually transforming our consciousness, how we think, how we feel, how we are aware. This is what consciousness means. When you say transform our heart, what does that mean? Means how you think, how you feel, how you are aware of the Lord's inconceivable potency. It changes, it purifies, it purifies. At one point, you cannot live without it. That loving exchange means you are growing, advancing. This is needed. This is needed. So ontologically, we may not see the difference, but functionally, we see that just by taking prasad regularly, there is a change that happens. The transformation happens in terms of people becoming gentler. It's a fact. Of course, in the beginning, I mean, like it could be happening in 2-3 months, could be 10 years, could be 20 years, could be 40 years, that sometime unfulfilled desire, all this material craving pops. Oh my God, I became a devotee, it's supposed to be like more gentle and everything because he's rooting out. But Krishna is very kind. He wants you to pray if you don't want those. It's not like Dhruva Maharaj met the Lord and Lord says, okay, you met me, now I won't give you what you asked originally. Well, he came with a selfish motive, which is not recommended for us by Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. We're supposed to come unmotivated, no material desire. But even when desire came, Dhruva Maharaj, Lord never will deprive you from what you want. But be very careful because the Dhruva Maharaj regretted. He had to bear 36,000 years because he wanted a bigger kingdom than his grandfather. Well, he got it, but he didn't want it. He wanted to just be in love, serve the Lord. He found that is higher, million times higher than just being the king of a big state or planet or something. So this is a lesson we learn that when we dive into this, but don't feel that you're going in a wrong way. Even those unfulfilled desire like pouring out is like on the surface. Your intensity of the prayers should be there. That is important. Then, yes, that is required. Then, yes, you will get the complete purification. So back to this point that I wanted to mention, that what can we do to make ourselves eligible? The end of this life, we are going to go where Mahaprabhu is performing Lila now. In some universe, he's performing Lila. Before you go to Golok Vrindavan, according to Prabhupada, we have to go there and then. So make ourselves eligible to definitely enter there as one of the servants. Now, I'm going to give you from a Chaitanya Charitamrita, the previous, I'm sure you read it, maybe some refreshment, that how much Mahaprabhu cared for his devotee and how much devotee cared for him. That has to be understood. Then we can hook ourselves in that. We can look care like a state of mind, you can say. Like we say, do you care when you cook? We say like this randomly. Do you care when you chant? Or you don't care with those people or those devotees or those things? Oh, I do care. No, I don't care. Like this, we use that randomly, that word. But here in this few chapter, actually like this. See, end of this Antya Lila is the true principle we are going to learn that we need. And 3, exchange the Lord reciprocate with us. Is the affection, care, and protection. But 2 things from us that it's compulsory, require, and proportion to our progress in that, we will reciprocate that. That's why it's very nicely, the last part or last chapter of this Chaitanya Charitamrita is about humility. Shikshastakam was promoted, and that is required. So, so back to this. When we say we care being used in different ways as a sometimes noun. Care can also be used as a verb, which is care, caring, to be concerned, to be having a certain regard, to be concerned or have a special preference. Sometime you will hear, or maybe you say yourself something, I don't care if I do that. I don't care if he or she does that. We use that. What does that mean, care? Like when Sripad Bhakticharu Maharaj left our vision, entered in spiritual domain, that question, one of the question, Radhanath Maharaj over the phone told me, make sure you tell Maharaj, by the time you arrive, if he's still listening, that he should know that we do care his project, we do care for his disciples, the ISKCON leaders will take care. So very sweet. I didn't think so deeply at that time because I was emotional also. But later on I thought, what a wonderful way to relate a sweet, caring message for the person who cared for his subjects when he's departing from this world. So in that reference, care means responsibility. First thing in Mahaprabhu's life we see in reciprocation with the devotee, care means responsibility. And there is the context of responsibility. What does that mean? That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he expressed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Recently we studied, where we study every day Chaitanya Charitamrita, a group of Vira Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He started that. He's there every day. So in Adi Lila, chapter 8, we saw that Mahaprabhu says, More na manile sab loko hobe nas. Ithe lagi kripa ardra prabhur karila sannas. The reason Mahaprabhu took sannas, he has the perfect mother. He has the goddess of Lakshmi as his wife, most beautiful. He has everything perfect, name, fame, everything is there. But because the Navadvip Basi, there are 6 types of unwanted people like Kutarka. They put a logic argument. They're smart though. They only do party for wedding and birthday, not for the Janmashtami or special holy festivals. No, it was not like that, Navadvip. That's what made Srivas Thakur, Advaita Acharya, his appearance day coming in few days, he very depressed. And Advaita Acharya took a bow. A bow I heard from Srila Govinda Maharaj's lecture, and then I went to Chaitanya Charitamrita. I found it, that verse, that Karaima Krishna Sarva Nayana Gochar Taveta Advaita Nam Krishna Rakinka. This is a vow, such a strong vow, that he says that if I cannot make the supreme beautiful personality as an object of love of all those souls, then I will not call myself Advaita. I'll destroy this universe. That was such a, I'm laughing, but that was such a strong vow that it shook the sleeping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the milk ocean. He expressed this. Shuya chinushkira samudra bhitare mora nidra bhanga hila narar hunkare. When Advaita Acharya evoked this with a strong vow that I'll destroy this universe if the Lord does not come and save those fallen souls, then immediately Mahaprabhu, he was resting on the milk ocean, but he could not sleep. He immediately said, no, I'm coming. He got ready to come down. And Mahaprabhu, after coming down, he saw these types of people are so horrible. They have no interest. Mahaprabhu is thinking, I came with the highest goal to give love that they're looking for, whole world is looking for. You know, do you ever wonder, like people really want pure love, and when you give them, try to give them Krishna conscious pure love, they say, that's not exactly what I need. I believe in someone, they say something like this. They're not open-minded. It's such a challenge, Practically, I saw that. So Mahaprabhu, and then we can relate with Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, that's why he did not give. Prabhupada said that he did not give. He left. Then why did he take sannyas? Just to make those Navadvip Bengalis, Garpurva, I mean, they're stubborn and they stick to their rituals, their family party, just like all over the world, sense gratification, not into spiritual realm that make this life as a boat to cross from this world to spiritual world, and forever, eternally, you will be happy. Sacrifice one life, one life. That's what Prabhupada told to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, this is too much. Can't we have like a 2-3 life? Then it like a little spread out. Prabhupada said, no, give this life, only life. If you are lacking something, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come to fill up this and take you back home. Gives me a big hope that we can all make this one life to go back home, back to Godhead. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, it is because of this consideration the Lord accepted sannyas, even though he did not need. He had everything perfect. So that's why that question, even Prabhupada writes in that question, why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accept the order of sannyas order? That described because he cares for those fallen souls. And after Nityananda Prabhu revealed, after Mahaprabhu took sannyas, who he was, it started changing the heart of all those stubborn Bengalis who did not care for Mahaprabhu. And of course, when Mahaprabhu returned back, they cried. But they could not meet that close as a Nimai. That time Mahaprabhu is as a sannyas, difference level. So Mahaprabhu took the responsibility himself to deliver all those people. Sacrifice so much. So this is one. and it's 12 o'clock. There are few other ways to look at it. I'm just going to end with in 5 minutes to stress this point, that Mahaprabhu care and devotee care also mean affection. And there are many examples we see Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how Mahaprabhu went to Rupa Sanatan and he told them, you know why I came? I supposed to go to Vrindavan because I care for you. And I took note on that. I was like, wow, just for you, I have come all the way this route instead of going straight to other. So Mahaprabhu, the supreme absolute distributor of love of Godhead, he cares so much for us. And if we can just express our care for him and his giving, just like Prabhupada said in the class, he said, Guru has come to take you back home, back to Godhead. What is the duty of the disciple? Of course, they could not come up immediately, but at the end, Prabhupada added, disciples also should have a same desire. Guru has come to take me spiritual world. I'm ready to go. Then it's called Tadatma. Then it will take place. Otherwise, it's unfortunate that we won't be able to, hopefully, not missing the boat. So we should focus on our reciprocation with the devotees. If we do just basic few things, we will protect ourselves and prepare ourselves to be with Mahaprabhu next life, for sure. For an example, as we go in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll see that humility is the most important. That's why it's the last end. Madhurana samapayat, whatever is the sweet, you put at the end. The sweet is the humility. Core of humility is honesty. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that simplicity is the humility. Vaishnavata, saralatai Vaishnavata. I remember one time Radhanath Maharaj was explaining how Bhakti Lata, it did not say seed, it says is a creeper of the Bhakti. So when Guru gives you this Seva Vasana Bij, a seed to develop attitude to serve the Lord. So you can check if you developing a desire to chant, developing a desire, always wants to serve Krishna, serve Krishna's devotee. Don't consider family people, consider them as a Krishna's devotee. Then you are growing, that is good. But that Bhakti Lata grows on a humility. The creeper, like a tree plant, they grow straight, but creeper never grows on their own support. Creepers needs support. Without humility, bhakti cannot grow, period. Just like in the beginning, you get up, you think, did I make this body, human body? Did I get this brain? Did I get the contact automatically with Krishna consciousness? No, these are arranged, subjective. Means they are arranging, they are attracting to you. Krishna is attracting to you. Try to see them. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu trying to attract us. If you can align with it, you got it. But the world is filled with self-pity. Self-pity is not humility. It is negative self-launching pad to freedom from self-absorption. The whole world is filled with this. That's why I remember Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj always used to say, humility is not to think less of oneself, but to think of oneself less. So when we chant, to chant the Lord's name means to take the Lord's help. Dependence. We should always depend on Lord. We should always depend. But if we use the Lord for our own ends, we cannot or never attain the state of humility. There's a little fine point. If we, even in the temple, I ask myself that, how can I give respect to all the devotees? But my mind immediately detects, oh, some are junior, some are senior, some are this. Alachua has so many Prabhupada's disciples, they're sincere devotees, and so many second generation, so sincere. But mind creates, oh, you don't have to. No, with intelligent focus, that no, if we can respect, if I can respect, we can be very happy. Why? Because when we expect respect, we may not get. That puts us into miserable. And spiritually, there is no growth. But spiritually, if we can develop an idea, okay, I'm going to respect even this little child, who knows? He could be a great sannyasi last life, or could be a great sincere devotee last life. Just didn't finish the journey, so took birth. In this life, what I'm trying to achieve, this person already achieved last life. It just came as a child. If we can somehow or other respect with that attitude, that they belong to Krishna, they have a pure love for Krishna, the same Lord I'm trying to connect, by respecting them, I'll be always happy. You can actually be happy, experience happiness now in the association of devotee. So from doing things for Krishna to looking after people who are doing things for Krishna, to looking after people, devotee for Krishna, all these things come up in devotional service. And we learned the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered us a golden opportunity. That if somehow or other we can take advantage in the service we do for Krishna conscious mission, and in our personal behavior, in our personal dealings with the Vaishnava and Vaishnavis, then surely we can go back home, back to Godhead. In my early life, I remember I was careless. I'm being honest to you, careless in my dealings with others. But now I regret, I do. That why? Because the consciousness changing, realization coming that every Vaishnava is a very precious to Krishna. Even one relationship is spoiled with one Vaishnava is one opportunity to receive mercy is blocked. So I regret. And regretful for my careless dealings, now I am trying to be more careful and more appreciative in my dealings of Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis. And I appreciate the mercy that comes from the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, because this is directly the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There's only few names given in this chapter, but he says, Ashankha Aganita, is a unlimited, how many lakhs of devotees came. How did they come? Because of the mercy of the mercy of the mercy of those Vaishnava, they got it. And we are looking for that. So I'll end here. If there is any more discussion on reflection, contemplation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It was so nice and very inspiring, lot of lesson to learn. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata.
Hare Krishna. Is there any question or comment for Prabhuji? This can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mata. Go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. Actually, in the beginning also I was trying to speak, but looks like my audio was not working. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class and enlightening us on this topic. I do have one question to the last part that you spoke, that, how we have to seek the mercy of all the Vaishnavas. Even one Vaishnava is, we can't make him happy or her happy, then, the one blockage, one obstruction is there to receive Krishna's mercy. But at the same time, it's hard, Prabhu, to keep everyone happy. So how to deal with these two? Because we don't know when another Vaishnava is offended. And, though we are intentionally not trying to avoid that Vaishnava, but, maybe because of some unfortunate condition, it happens that the other person perceives that we are ignoring or we are not responding properly. So we cannot make everybody happy. So how to, thank you, Prabhu. I hope you understood my question.
Yes, Mother. But I think you are partially already answered your question. That Chaitanya Bhagavat explains all those slokas on the offenses. Chaitanya Charitamrita also has this, that Bhaktaninda Sahite na pare, Bhakta Sabhav Aggodus Khama Kare, Krishna Sabhav Bhaktaninda Sahite na pare. So on that topics about Haridas Thakur's and Gopal Chakraborty, that was beautiful explanation given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. As you said, that we may not be able to please every devotee. That is correct. That is natural in this world. But as long my intention is not offensive, then Krishna will forgive me. And holy name will forgive me. There is a 4 steps to relinquish the offensive attitude or effect. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, first is that I try, if I came to know. Now, unknowingly, if I did not have any intention to offend anyone, then it will not be counted as an offense. And if it is there, Krishna will help us. Devananda Pandit is a great example. That's a grave offense, actually. You knew that he committed offense to Srivas Thakur, but he was forgiven. He experienced ecstasy by serving somebody else, not Srivas Thakur. And question came that if the thorn poked on the shoulder, how do you take the thorn out of toes? It has to pluck out from the same place where the thorn poked. But the answer Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur gave, that it is the intention of Devananda Pandit. He regretted. He did not even know that he was committing a grave offense by not stopping the disciples to take Srivas Thakur out of the temple room. The Srivas Thakur was experiencing some ecstasy, hearing about Krishna, how merciful, Kangba Dayalu Saranam Brajema, that how merciful Krishna. But he did not stop as a speaker, as a teacher. So as a result, he committed offense. But when he was not even aware, because he was not a Vaishnava, that this is a grave offense. But when he became Vaishnava, after Mahaprabhu left and he was into this and he regretted, he repented. And when any Vaishnava assembly would gather, he would come and serve. And later on, after 5 years, when Mahaprabhu returned to Ekkori Chattopadhyay's house in Navadvip as a sannyasi, Mahaprabhu met him and he told him, Because your intention, Krishna forgave you, but you should go and ask forgiveness to Sivas. So Mahaprabhu will arrange, Krishna will arrange if we committed offense unintentionally, but intentionally if I did, that will not be forgiven. So that has to be watched out. And due to unknowingly, like we of course, even stepping an hand, so many things happen in this condition of life. But if our intention is to serve and to please the Lord, to serve the Vaishnavas, even in this chapter, you'll see later on that Govinda, you know that story, Govinda stepped over Mahaprabhu's body to please Mahaprabhu. And he gave the conclusion in their dialogue. I'm not going to give all this because I think next speaker is going to say that Govinda explains the essence that for the pleasure of the Lord, for your pleasure, I do not worry about offense. Even if there is offense, is not important. Even if somebody has to go to hell to please Krishna, it's okay. Just like Gopis express. But for my own sense enjoyment, I cannot do that. Mahaprabhu was happy. Mahaprabhu was happy. So from that regards, as long we are alert not to commit offense or maintain any ill motive, then we'll be okay. So that's why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur give this 4 formula. I think I mentioned before, maybe not. That first is we try to go to that devotee if we found out that we committed offense. Second, if that did not work, then act such a way that that devotee will notice that you're trying to get out of this offense. Then he'll forgive. Third, if that did not work, go to a senior devotee and confess the truth, and that senior devotee will help. Even if that doesn't work, then take complete shelter of holy name, and holy name will forgive. Hope that gives you some idea.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have one raised hand.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Madharish Upanishad. I'm
Jai.
glad you joined.
Please accept my obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, glories to Guru Day, and all glories to your wonderful devotional seva. I just wanted to say thank you so very much for reminding me of the mood of humility. I thought I was so touched by what you said about Bhakti Tirtha Swami, and not to think less of oneself, but to think of oneself less. That was so very helpful for me. A constant reminder how we should absorb ourselves in that unique process. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mata. Please bless me and pray for me.
Jai Prabhu. That's ditto for me too. Hare Krishna. Haribol.
Haribol. So we can end the class if no other.
Hare Krishna. Comment question for Prabhuji, otherwise we can end the call. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your association and your wonderful class. Vanchakalpataru Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Anantagari Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much. All the
Thank you.